These celebrities do not want you to watch this leaked footage, so what are we gonna do? Talk about him, of course. First up, Justin Bieber. Throwing up in public is embarrassing for all of us, but doing it in front of thousands of fans, that is, well, thousands of times worse. In September 2012, during the opening night of his Believe tour in Glendale, Arizona, Justin Bieber was performing Out of Town Girl when he abruptly turned away from the audience and vomited on stage. He briefly exited, but soon returned to continue the show. What a trooper, right? But then, during his song Beauty and a Beat, he upchucked all over the stage again. Yikes. Bieber apologized to the crowd, claiming he was sick from drinking too much milk before the concert, and asked the fans if they still love him despite him throwing up on stage. Of course, they all screamed, which clearly indicated that they would and do still love him. Jennifer Lawrence. Winning an Oscar is supposed to be a very glamorous moment, unless, of course, you wipe out on your way to accept it. That is what happened to Jennifer Lawrence at the 2013 Academy Awards when she tripped and fell to her knees while walking up the stairs to accept her Best Actress Oscar for Silver Linings Playbook. Upon finally reaching the podium, the crowd gave her a standing ovation, and she joked, saying, "You guys are just standing because you feel bad that I fell. And that's really embarrassing, but thank you. Not gonna lie, it was really embarrassing." But the fall and her good-natured way of handling the awkward moment led to people actually applauding her as refreshingly, kind of relatable. Honestly, winning an Oscar can be more cringy or embarrassing, as you will actually see next. That brings me to Adrien Brody. Winning an Oscar is supposed to help your career, not make people think badly of you. Unfortunately for Adrien Brody, that's exactly what happened. When his name was called as the winner of this year's Best Actor Oscar for his role in The Brutalist, Brody stood, pulled out his gum, and tossed it toward his partner Georgina Chapman before proceeding to go to the stage. Then, upon actually reaching the podium, he embarked on an unfocused and unextraordinary acceptance speech that would set a new record for its length, nearly 6 minutes long. Even when the orchestra mercifully attempted to play him off, Brody persisted, requesting the music be stopped. He even remarked, saying, "I've done this before, thank you, it is not my first rodeo." He previously actually won for The Pianist. Now, falling on the way to the stage doesn't actually seem so bad now, does it? Steve Harvey is up. The 2015 Miss Universe contest, where at the dramatic conclusion, host Steve Harvey declared Miss Columbia as the new Miss Universe. The crowd actually erupted in cheers. Miss Columbia beamed with excitement, and she was even crowned and handed flowers. But moments later, a visibly uncomfortable Steve Harvey returned and awkwardly admitted, saying, "I have to apologize. The first runner-up is Columbia. Miss Universe 2015 is actually Miss Philippines." Gas basically filled the room as pageant officials removed the crown from Miss Columbia's head and placed it on Miss Philippines. Harvey later said, "I took my stupid behind back out there. I should have let them announce it the next day in the newspaper. I wouldn't have caught none of the crap I caught." I mean, Steve, it was your mistake, so admitting it was the right move. And what century are you living in where the newspaper would announce it the next morning? It would have been all over social media in like an hour or less later. Madison Pruitt is next. This one may escape you, as she's not your typical celebrity, but if you're a Batch fan like me, you'll know her and likely know of this super cringe moment in time she wishes no one would see or remember. So in 2020, Madison Pruitt, a contestant on the show The Bachelor, appeared to leave a fawning comment on one of her own Instagram posts, writing, "Beautiful date, Maddie, you are so genuine and so real." It seemed that she intended to post the compliment from a fake fan account, but forgot to switch accounts. Fans on Reddit roasted her, saying nothing says genuine and real like having a fake Instagram account to comment compliments on your public one. And another person wrote, "OMFG, commenting without switching to a fan account of yourself is embarrassing enough, but commenting that you're so genuine and real is sending me. What a nightmare combination of cringe." Pruitt later claimed that it was a friend's comment mistakenly posted from her account. Sure, Maddie, sure. David Hasselhoff does not want you to see this leaked footage of him. In 2007, a video surfaced showing a drunk and shirtless David Hasselhoff struggling to eat a hamburger while lying on the floor. It turned out that Baywatch star's daughter, Taylor Ann, had made the video to show her dad, severity of his drinking problem. However, it was leaked to the public. While it was not a fun experience for the Hoff, he later said the video played a very pivotal role in his recovery journey and acknowledged that the public's, exposure served as a wake-up call. In a statement at the time, he said, "For me, it was actually a good sign because it was a wake-up call and it brought everything to a head. Finally, I just said, look, this has all all got to stop. Hasselhoff's battles with alcohol go back at least to 2002 when he first entered rehab. He had a DWI in 2004, and he said his concern was mainly for his daughters. He actually briefly lost visitation rights right after that video surfaced, but he has since had them restored. Now, as of 2025, reports indicate that Hasselhoff remains committed to his sobriety. Next, we have Lindsay Lohan and her very bizarre Instagram Live video. Now, the Instagram Live sees Lohan approach an apparently homeless family who she identifies as Syrian refugees and that she is really worried about them. The actress initially offers to take the two young boys to a hotel to watch a film and suggests the children should not be on the floor. However, when the family refuses, the actress becomes increasingly hostile. She even said to the mother, "You should be a hardworking woman and you should be doing what you can for your children so they have a better life." After a few minutes, the family decided to actually pick up their belongings and move away from her. Towards the end of the 10-minute video, the interaction becomes physical as Lindsay is seemingly pushed to the floor by the mother. It is not clear where the video was filmed, but Lindsay had at the time tagged her social media posts to Moscow and Paris. Now, many responded angrily to the post and accused the actress of trying to basically take and steal the young boys, while others described the video as just shocking, disgusting, and very uncomfortable to watch. Heather Morris. Sometimes people can mean well, but still seriously embarrass themselves. Take Glee star Heather Morris, who in June of 2023 posted an interpretive dance tribute to George Floyd on social media. Yes, you heard that right, an interpretive dance tribute to George Floyd. And honestly, it sounds like something her Glee character Brittany Pierce would have done. Now, in the video, Morris performed in a very emotional dance set to spoken word audio addressing racial injustice. Now, while intended as a heartfelt tribute, many viewers found the performance insensitive and self-indulgent, criticizing Morris for making the tragedy about herself. One person wrote on Twitter, "This girl had not even one friend to tell her this was stupid." Heather Morris doing an interpretive dance to represent George Floyd's passing, I really thought I'd seen it all. Another person on X wrote, "I genuinely want to know what possessed Heather Morris to do this. Honestly, there's no doubt she wishes this one would have stayed in drafts, as we all wish too." I'm still mind blown. She posted it thinking, wow, yes, this is great. Next up, we have Kristen Stewart. This was a huge scandal back then, as Kristen was dating Robert Pattinson, her Twilight co-star, and he was one of the most sought after men in Hollywood at the time. So in 2012, footage of Kristen kissing her Snow White and the Huntsman director went viral on the internet. He was married to model Liberty Ross at the time, who filed for divorce shortly after the affair came to light. Stewart received massive backlash for her act. She faced massive public scrutiny, and during one of the confessions, Kristen actually mentioned that she had no reason behind cheating on Robert. She was going through a very, self-destructive phase in her life when her affair with Rupert began. Rupert would go on the record as well and say that it was just a momentary lapse, and said, "You never know what's coming in life. Around every corner there's something unexpected, and that's life." The Twilight lovebirds actually did give it another chance to love when they reconciled in October of that year, but things didn't work out as they finally ended their long-term relationship in May of 2013. Last but not least, Fergie is up. Fergie, known for her work with the Black Eyed Peas, of course, performed a very slowed down, jazzy version of the Star Spangled Banner at the NBA All-Star Game. Now, the performance was met with a huge mix of confusion and amusement, with many finding it out of place and even in an inappropriate, sensual tone. The performance became a viral sensation, with social media users sharing memes and jokes about Fergie's rendition. Now, in response to the backlash, Fergie issued an apology, stating that she wanted to try something special for the NBA, but that her rendition clearly didn't strike the intended tone. Some speculated that Fergie was attempting to emulate Marvin Gaye's iconic 1983 All-Star Game performance, which was also a unique and bluesy rendition of the anthem. Golden State Warrior star Draymond Green was actually seen on camera cracking a smile during the performance, further fueling the social media buzz. Now, Charles Barkley joked that he needed a cigarette after Fergie's performance during the halftime show. She wishes this footage could disappear, but honestly, I'm glad it's still out there. It's a great pick-me-up when you need a good laugh. Is Jessica Simpson okay? Fans are deeply worried. Jessica Simpson is trending again, but not for a comeback tour or a new fashion line. No, this time it's because people are seriously concerned after she had a, let's call it an unexpected moment live on national television. Let's set the scene. It's July 23rd, 2025. Jessica's on the Today Show promoting her new short film, Sincerely Jules. She's smiling, waving, looking, radiant as ever, but then something happens that has the internet spiraling darling. As she's being introduced, cameras catch Jessica with what appears to be a noticeable wet stain on her pants, and before anyone could chalk it up to spilled water or just like a wardrobe malfunction, Jessica herself blurts out, "I peed my pants." Live, on air, she did that, and not like in a quirky, haha, I laughed way too hard kind of way. It was awkward, like unfiltered, unedited, and it instantly went viral. Within minutes, Jessica Simpson Today's Show was trending on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, like you name it. And it wasn't just because of the pee, it was like everything. Her behavior, her energy, the slurred words, the sudden loud laughter. And here's where it gets really messy. People aren't just roasting her, they're asking, is Jessica okay? Like, really okay? Is she having a moment? Or is this a deeper issue that's finally surfacing? Comments flooded in with the most saying, why is no one talking about how off she seems? She looks like she's on something. This isn't funny, it's sad. And then came the classic, someone check on her, please. Now, to be fair, Jessica has always been unapologetically herself. I mean, she's goofy, she's blunt, and she's never been afraid to like own her awkwardness. But fans say this felt different. Less funny awkward, more like, wait, should we be worried? BuzzFeed broke it down, highlighting how this isn't the first time Jessica's behavior has raised eyebrows. In fact, she's had a few recent appearances where she seemed not quite all there. And when you stack those on top of this, pee moment, well, you can see why people are freaking out, right? I mean, of course, others jumped into her defense, saying, she's a mom of 3, maybe she sneezed too hard, it happens. I mean, you try being 40-something and holding it on live TV, so she probably had a nervous bladder, leave her alone. Totally fair points, but here's where things really shift. What's fueling the concern isn't just what happened, it's the vibe. Fans are picking up on something deeper. Jessica's eyes look glassy. I mean, her speech offbeat, her body language kind of all over the place. And while nobody wants to jump to conclusions, this isn't the first time rumors about her well-being have surfaced. Let's not forget, Jessica's been candid about how past struggles with substance dependency issues. In her memoir, Open Book, she openly talked about, alcohol, pills, and hitting rock bottom before getting sober. So when fans see, behavior that maybe echoes the past, it hits different. It's not just gossip, it's worry. So far, Jessica hasn't issued a statement, no reps have commented, no clarifications, not even like a cheeky Instagram post, turning the situation into a joke. And that silence, honestly, it's only basically fanning the flame. Kanye West and Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan went from condemning to fawning over Kanye West in an interview on his Piers Uncensored show, praising the rapper, even after West said he was absolutely not sorry for his anti-Semitic remarks. The rapper calls Morgan a Karen, adding, "You don't hold accountability to my pain." Morgan replied by saying, "I'm not a Karen and I'm not going to cancel you and I'm not going to censor you. I'm simply going to challenge you on what you're saying." As Morgan tries to call out West on his anti-Semitic remarks and that, it is basically racism, West denies it. He eventually gets so mad and storms out, leaving Piers alone to wrap up the interview by himself. R. Kelly and Gayle King interview. When Gayle King interviewed R. Kelly on CBS this morning, among the questions King asked during the 80-minute interview was about a stop Kelly made after his February 25th release from a weekend in jail on SA charges. In the interview, which was Kelly's first since he was arrested, the singer is at times emotional and at other times very explosive. You can see him get up from his seat, have a tantrum. He says he's basically fighting for his life, and he had a big old, crocodile tears running down his face while Gayle tried to calm him down. It was just another low point and moment for him, providing the internet with unlimited content for memes and jokes on Saturday Night Live. Charlie Sheen. In a rather strange interview with ABC in February of 2011, the actor blasted Two and a Half Men creator Chuck Lorre and proclaimed he was not bipolar but bi-winning. He also called Lorre a turd and a clown, and during this interview, Charlie Sheen explains that he has tiger blood, and when he was asked the last time he used, he said, "I don't use, but I do use a blender and I use a vacuum cleaner," but ultimately he said he just can't remember the last time he used any illegal substances. From beginning to end, Sheen seems to celebrate his very obvious meltdown, leading many to fear for his actual physical and psychological health. Now, despite the controversy surrounding that whole interview, it gained him further popularity and actually gave the show the highest rating of the night. Boxer Mike Tyson went off on Toronto's CP24 reporter Nathan Downer during a live interview. Downer brought up that the former athlete had met up with Toronto Mayor Rob Ford at the time and basically asked Tyson whether he thought his criminal record could damage his reputation of the mayor, who, by the way, actually admitted to smoking illegal substances during one of his drunken stupors. Tyson seemed very calm at first, but what came out of his mouth proved that the news host really got under his skin. He said to Downer, "You're being negative. You're really a piece of ish. F you." Now, Downer reminded Tyson that he was on live TV, but that didn't seem to faze the boxer, who basically responded saying, "I don't care. What are you going to do about it?" Now, the CP24 reporter tried to change the subject to Tyson's one-man show, Mike Tyson Undisputed Truth, but the celeb wasn't having it and continued to curse at Downer, calling him a rat piece of ish, and that was pretty much the end of the interview. Chris Brown. In 2011, his Good Morning America appearance began with a smile, but he ultimately left angry and shirtless. The interview itself is very brief, with Robin Roberts focusing mostly on Brown's past and public image rather than his new album, which is what he was there to promote. Now, on camera, Brown stays focused. He even performs a song, but backstage, however, things took a turn and went sour when Roberts began, a conversation again asking about Rihanna. Now, the interview came 2 years after he pled guilty to charges, and Chris Brown was clearly not pleased that his past just, kept being brought up. So Brown didn't appreciate Robin Roberts prying about the situation with Rihanna at all and all the hate he got. So he had a very public meltdown. Brown basically stormed backstage after the whole interview was done, ripped his shirt off, and smashed a window with a chair, causing it to shatter and, for shards of glass to basically fall on the street. Security was called to the scene, but by the time they actually arrived, a shirtless Brown was just already headed out the door. The Bee Gees in 1997, during their appearance on Clive Anderson All Talk, the Bee Gees found themselves at the receiving end of the host's jokes about their music. Within mere seconds of commencing the interview, Clive likened the group's distinctive high falsetto to Mickey Mouse and humorously suggested that the Bee Gees, renowned hitmakers, were only one letter shy of being hit writers. Now, the breaking point for Barry Gibb and his brothers, Robin and Maurice, came when the host actually forgot their hit records, prompting them to basically stand up and abruptly leaving the show. Joan Rivers. In 2014, the late Joan Rivers made headlines when she very dramatically exited a CNN interview. Now, CNN host Frederica Whitfield was accusing Joan of being mean in some of her harsh fashion critiques, which appeared to ruffle the comedian's feathers. Now, Frederica continued to challenge Joan as she said, "You're not really worried about feelings getting hurt." To which, Joan replied saying, "Well, not when it's about dresses. It's not about them. It's about the clothing," not backing down basically on her questioning. Now, touching on sensitive topics, appearing in Joan's book that she was promoting at the time, the guest made a very abrupt exit. But before abruptly walking out of her interview, Joan yelled at the interviewer and said, "Stop it with your mean this, your mean that. You are not the one to interview a person who does humor. Sorry." And she basically stormed out, left the interviewer shocked and in disbelief, asking, "Is this real?" Gary Coleman. Volatile performer Gary Coleman got himself back in the news again after walking off in the middle of an interview on The Insider. Now, Coleman refused to answer a question asked by panelist and attorney Lisa Bloom as to whether he has a toxic relationship with his wife. He suggested it was ridiculous as he is 4'7" and his wife is 5'6". He let it rip on Bloom before storming away, which was kind of unhelpful when you're trying to deny stories that suggest you may have issues in your relationship. The former Diff'rent Strokes star was arrested on an outstanding warrant after police received a domestic disturbance call from his house. It follows just, though, a string of stories in the media over domestic issues and run-ins with the law for him. Jennifer Lawrence appeared to have had a very stern word with a journalist who was using his phone during her winner's press conference at the Golden Globes. Now, the actress, who at the time won Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy for David O. Russell's film Joy, was speaking to a crowded room of reporters backstage when the moment occurred. The journalist in question was Juan Pablo Fernandez Fio, who was covering the LA event for E! News. Now, as he began to ask his question, Lawrence interrupted, wagging her finger at him him saying, "You can't just live your life behind your phone, bro. You can't do that. You've got to live in the now." Now, as the crowd laughed, of course, Fernandez Fiel apologized before continuing. He said, "How do you see yourself for Oscar night?" Now, interrupting him again, Lawrence said, "We're at the Golden Globes. If you put your phone down, you'd know that." Now, it is believed that the reporter, who can be heard speaking with a very strong accent, was reading a question from his phone. While the reason behind the phone usage is uncertain, the reporter's Twitter account is full of retweets slamming the actress's actions. Was this one joke just a little too far for the actress? I mean, I think, yeah, because people took to social media to express their outrage and disgust over the situation, calling her rude. Billie Joe Armstrong. Now, if for 1 minute you thought Billie Joe Armstrong was Justin Bieber, he certainly put you straight at the 2012 iHeartRadio Festival. There's still quite some argument about what led to this rock star's outburst, but the general, gist is that Armstrong and his band Green Day had been allotted a 45-minute set at the event, only to have their time cut short because Usher took up too much. If true, then it clearly didn't go down well with him. Armstrong launched into a very explosive-filled tirade that ended with him smashing his guitar on stage. The band later apologized, of course, for the incident, but we gotta say it was very rock and roll. Last but not least, we have David Hasselhoff. Now, in 2007, a video surfaced showing a very drunk and shirtless David Hasselhoff struggling to eat a hamburger while lying on the floor. These things all came together to form a recipe of pure WTF am I watching. Now, it turned out the Baywatch star's daughter, Taylor Ann, had made the video to show her dad the seriousness of his drinking problem. While it was not a fun experience for the Hoff, he later said the video played a very pivotal role in his recovery journey and acknowledged that the public exposure served as kind of a wake-up call. As you watch the former Baywatch star at his absolute worst, you can hear his daughter pleading with him to stop drinking as he very clumsily eats the burger while sprawled out on the floor. So yeah, deeply undignified. The video, was a form of tough love. And, Hasselhoff was attempting to recover from his substance disorder, but, he was actually caught mid-relapse during what ended up being one heck of a meme-worthy wake-up call. Now, Hasselhoff's battles with, substance abuse go back to at least 2002 when he first entered rehab. So he briefly lost visitation rights after that video surfaced, but he since has had them restored. Now, as of this year, reports indicate that he remains committed to his sobriety. Now, who could forget footage from when Kim Kardashian told women in business they needed to get their ASS up and go to work? Well, no one, but Kim sure wishes it never got leaked and allegedly begged Variety magazine to not go forward with actually showing it. Now, the second this infamous interview got leaked, Kim faced immediate backlash and scrutiny. Kim, the daughter of famed lawyer Rob Kardashian and Hollywood socialite Kris, then Kardashian, now Jenner, obviously very much born into privilege and wealth, trying to tell everyday folk to get up and just work, clearly did not sit well with anyone. Now, the footage got spread like wildfire and Kim almost shut down her socials for a whole month because of it. At some point, she tried to kind of pedal back and say her recent comments about work ethic and finding success weren't meant to be a dig at women, but that they were just the reality of working hard to achieve your goals when everyone else doubts you. Kim says the whole thing was taken out of context, telling Robin Roberts on Good Morning America, "My message was to anyone who wants to be successful in building a business or brand, having come from that very specific space. Reality show or social media fame is to work hard. It's not easy. You don't just post something on social media and overnight you become a success." A source who was there for the interview tells Kim that, she made it clear her comment was not directed at women, but it was a part of her own personal experience, saying, "After 20 years at this, I'm still put in the box of famous for being famous. I heard someone say that to me when we did that interview, and that's why my demeanor and tone shifted." Now, despite the fact that Kim was born into a very wealthy, well-connected family and skyrocketed to fame thanks to reality TV and a certain tape, cough cough, she explained that she thought the problem with people in business was that no one wanted to work. Something about Kim Kardashian saying, "Get your bleeping behind up and work. It seems like nobody want to work these days. You have to surround yourself with people that want to work and have a good work environment while everyone loves what they do." That just didn't sit right in anyone's soul. So, and while it's true that you have to work really hard to reap the benefits, it's definitely not as simple as that for people who aren't born into wealth and fame. Kim faced backlash from viewers who called her out for ignoring ignoring her upbringing's role in her success and how many people do work hard but aren't fairly financially compensated. Now, despite this footage being a couple years old now, it's still being talked about. It's still a hot topic, and it's still something that haunts Kimmy to this day. Kim's designer debacle. Now, Kimmy sparked some irritation from fans when she posted a now deleted video showcasing free goods she received from Dolce & Gabbana to her Instagram stories way back in January of 2019. Now, followers were outraged by the post, many pointing out that the controversial brand, has come under fire multiple times over the years, most notably though for a 2015 interview with Italian magazine Panorama, in which the designing duo Stefano Gabbana and Domenico Dolce referred to IVF babies as chemical offsprings and synthetic children. Really bad. And to know off that, Kim actually became pregnant with her second child, Saint, through IVF and her others as well. So yeah, it's kind of awkward. But people weren't pleased and very outraged, to put it lightly. Now, Dolce and Gabbana later apologized for this very inappropriate statement and said that they regretted it deeply, I'm sure. Kim Kardashian's Halloween costume had fans and onlookers saying, "Girl, what is you doing?" Now, Kimmy thought it would be a good idea to dress as Aaliyah for Halloween one year, and despite regretting the decision, once the vids and pics got leaked, there was just no turning back. The costume specifically recreated the look from Aaliyah's Try Again music video, if you can remember that, which included a custom bra top and J brand leather pants. So of course, people criticized Kim's costume, arguing that it was insensitive and disrespectful to Aaliyah, who was an iconic black singer and a cultural phenomenon. Now, the social media mogul issued an apology after. Many Twitter users basically called her, Halloween costume offensive back in October of 2017. Kim actually wrote on her website, "Aaliyah was such an amazing singer and she will be forever, a music legend. I saw online that some people thought my costume was in poor taste, and I am truly sorry if that offended anyone. We don't see color in my home. We were paying homage to people and artists we love and respect." It's that simple. Okay, Kimmy. Kim Kardashian Shape Up's controversy is one for the books. Now, the breakup to Shape Up commercial for Skechers that features Kim Kardashian, who tells her trainer she's basically leaving him because she's shape-upping instead, referencing Skechers Shape Up's athletic footwear, caused the company to be sued to the gods by consumers. Now, she's seen saying goodbye to him, then complimenting another man wearing the same sneakers. Weird. The commercial, directed by Chris Applebaum, is a tongue-in-cheek take on a relationship breakup to promote the Skechers footwear. The commercial effectively links the Skechers Shape Ups to a lifestyle change, potentially suggesting that the shoes will help viewers achieve their fitness goals, thus Shape Up. Skechers Inc. was forced to pay a whopping $40 million in refunds to customers in order to settle charges by the Federal Trade Commission that stated that the footwear company made unfounded claims about its Shape Up shoes. Promoted through the use of Kim Kardashian, as a brand spokesperson, the shoes had promised to help people lose weight and strengthen their butt, leg, and stomach muscles, which obviously did not happen for consumers. Let's be honest, it didn't happen for Kim either. That's not how she got in shape. We know how she got her toned figure, for the most part at least. Now, the clunky shoes were supposed to tone, women's behind and thighs just from walking. But many customers were unhappy with the results, obviously. Now, the Better Business Bureau page featured dozens of complaints of back pain. Customers also said they didn't see the toning results that were promised. Now, after this huge debacle, Kim understandably was so embarrassed, to say the least, but also begged to have the commercials removed virtually everywhere, as she just didn't want anyone, including her own children, to have to see it one day. Well, fast forward, and unfortunately for Kim, the footage is alive and well, and although still cringe AF, she did poke fun at it in a TikTok video with her daughter Northwest. One of the stars, ads which showed her posing in a pink sports bra with a very controversial sneaker hovering beside her appeared on screen, while a soundbite exclaimed, "Bro, if you got Skechers on, get out of my face." The clip then cuts to Kim and North sitting beside one another on a couch as they kind of mouth the remainder of the audio, which was just bizarre gibberish. Kim Kardashian and her sisters Khloe and Kourtney were slapped with a $5 million lawsuit over Get Fit Quick diet pills and supplements from Quick Trim. The pills, which are supposed to allow users to keep up with the Kardashians, and trim physiques, didn't work, of course, according to legal documents documents. Now, that's a shocker, right? 4 customers claim the Kardashians, made false claims when reporting through tweets and commercials that they used the products in order to slim down. They were seeking $5 million in damages for the deceptive marketing, claiming that the diet pill's main ingredient, caffeine, is not recognized as a safe or effective weight loss product by the FDA. Quick Trim advertisements show the Kardashian clan in very skimpy bikinis, flaunting their fit bodies while promoting the pills. The plaintiffs, who live in New York, California, and Florida at the time, stated in their lawsuit that the claims made by Quick Trim and by the Kardashians marketing, it was false, misleading, and just, substantiated. Now, they added there was no competent and reliable scientific evidence supporting any of the claims. The lawsuit, which was filed by the law firm of Bursar and Fisher, had to be certified by a judge as a class action complaint before it could actually cover a wider field of consumers than the 4 plaintiffs. Now, Quick Trim products, which range basically from pills to powdered drink mixes, are designed to detoxify and clean the body by eliminating extra water weight and bloating, in large part because of the laxatives they include, according to the company. Now, the products are available nationwide at more than 25,000 retail chains, including Walmart, Walgreens, GNC, all those places. But many of Kim Kardashian's millions of Twitter fans tweeted at the time that, inspired by her, they were going to give it a try. Kim since hasn't promoted any weight loss pills for obvious reasons, of course. Now, she did, however, promote a Get Slim lollipop, which, had its own share of clapbacks and controversy. They never learn, do they? Kim was accused of styling her hair in a way that, came across pretty racist to many people. Kim has been accused of cultural appropriation at least 3 times in recent years, maybe more, after rebranding historic hairstyles. Now, the first time came in 2016 when she became obsessed with a look the family renamed boxer braids, but the hairstyle, which Kim actually was accused of taking, the credit for, was actually just cornrows, which is really famously known. Now, in 2018, she courted controversy again after renaming another hairstyle the Bo Derek. Culture experts told Allure magazine at the time they were actually Fulani braids and had been worn by black women for years, decades, centuries, even millennials. Now, Kim further sparked outrage again when she rocked braids for the MTV Movie and TV Awards. Twitter users actually fumed over the style being considered, very cool and stylish on Kim, but unkept and unprofessional on black women. Now, during an interview, Kim defended herself and claimed that she didn't see the backlash over her sporting braids in the past. She said, "I did that look because North said she wanted braids and asked if I would just do them with her."
Taylor Swift just finished her Eras tour, but she's not out of the spotlight quite yet, as a new video of her and someone from her team has gone viral. Now, just a couple days after Taylor ended her Eras tour, she made her way to Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City to spend some time with the patients and their family members. She surprised them, took photos and videos, and even made some TikToks with fans. But as she was leaving, there was an extremely awkward moment between her and one of her team members. In the video, Taylor was seen exiting the facility surrounded by security and staff members, but when one started chastising a fan for videotaping her, Taylor was not so happy. The clip began with Taylor walking down a long hallway as the fan filming yelled from behind the camera, "Thank you for coming." Taylor grinned and waved at the fan, but suddenly a woman who was a part of Taylor's team started yelling at the person who was recording. "You're not supposed to be filming," she said angrily. But Taylor quickly came to the fan's defense as she grabbed the woman who was reprimanding her by the shoulders and turned her body away from the fan, adding, "It's okay, it's okay." Now, many people applauded Taylor for her reaction, while others slammed the lady for embarrassing her. "The way she grabbed that lady by both arms to shut her up, Tay said no being rude on my watch," one person tweeted. "We do not deserve her at all, not in the slightest, not even a little bit, not even at all," said another. "Not the old lady embarrassing her, OMG, it's a hospital worker filming, not some paparazzi," someone else added. While fans noticed that multiple other people were filming the star, they were trying to give this lady some grace, saying maybe she didn't want the person to film Taylor and post it right away, as it would give away her location and it could potentially become unsafe. And that makes sense, but if that was her intention, she could have been way nicer about it. Now, it was also revealed that during her hospital visit, Taylor asked a little girl what she wanted for Christmas, and she told Taylor that she wanted a brand new Dyson Airwrap. The next day though, the girl got a present from Taylor herself. It was the Dyson Airwrap, which cost around $600. Taylor then added a handwritten note that said, "In case Santa doesn't come through." Now this is honestly just so sweet and special. Now while Taylor was there, she also brought copies of her Eras Tour book that was just released and signed some copies for some of the fans. It was also Taylor's 35th birthday on December 13th, and it's been revealed that her boyfriend Travis Kelce threw her a surprise birthday party, and the theme was her Eras Tour. Brittany Mahomes shared pictures from the recent celebration on Instagram, where she was seen wearing a shimmering silver fringe mini dress with knee-high boots that paid homage to Taylor's Fearless album. Her husband Patrick Mahomes wore a suit reminiscent of the "I Can Do It With a Broken Heart" costume change skit from the Eras Tour as well. Now other pictures show Taylor in a black dress and her signature red lipstick with her hair pulled back. She posed with Brittany along with Chiefs wag Lindsay Bell, who rocked a lover-esque outfit, and Taylor's friend Ashley Avignon wore a snake around her neck in respects to the album Reputation. Now partygoers dressed up for the theme with feather boas and colorful clothes to go with different albums and eras, and friendship bracelets and light-up bracelets were worn as well. Taylor had a meaningful and memorable celebration for her big day and was showered in gifts from Travis, who also gave her countless roses, said a source who spoke with Page 6. The insider revealed that Travis hired a private chef and bartender to cook and make cocktails for them. He had his gifts delivered beforehand so they would be a surprise. Now the athlete also had jewelry engraved especially for Taylor, and it seemed like this was a nice way to end the year off for the star, as she's had such a huge year. Now her 149 show Eras Tour reportedly earned a whopping $2 billion in ticket sales, according to the New York Times. Now her tour was record-breaking as well. Not to mention she released a new album this year, The Tortured Poets Department. Now earlier this month she made a post saying, "Top streamed artist and album on Spotify this year. You guys are unbelievable," she said in her Instagram stories. "One amazing thing to find out going into our last weekend of Eras shows. Thank you." And I mean, she had over 26.6 billion Spotify streams in 2024, which is honestly just insane. While she did have a great year though, she also had her fair share of controversies. Foo Fighters frontman Dave Grohl blasted Taylor for her tour. He suggested that she only lip-syncs while on stage and dubbed her sell-out tour the Eras Tour, while saying that his band actually plays live. While performing at the London Stadium, Dave referred to Taylor, who was playing the same night on the other side of the Capitol in Wembley, to boos from some fans. He addressed the crowd, "We were joking about the Taylor Swift tour earlier. I know that she's on her Eras Tour. I tell you man, you don't want to suffer the wrath of Taylor Swift, so we like to call our tour the Eras Tour. We've had more than a few eras and more than a few effing errors as well. Just a couple." Now the band leader then clarified that's because we actually play live. Now to great cheers he continued, "Just saying, you guys like raw live rock and roll music, right? You came to the right place." The next day though, as Taylor performed her third show, she addressed these comments. She wasn't going to let him disrespect her entire crew, as during the show she told her audience, "What you just did is an unforgettable moment in not just my life, but every very single one of our crew. The band that's going to be playing for you live for these 3.5 hours tonight, they deserve this so much, and so does every one of my fellow performers, and you just gave that to us so generously, we'll never forget it." Now something that actually proves that she sings live is that night when she was strumming her guitar, standing at the mic, when she suddenly announced that she had swallowed a bug and asked the audience to pinch hit and sing the lyrics. Taylor did her best to continue to sing, but she soon stopped, turned to one side and started coughing. Now she made a quick recovery, jumping right back into the song and finishing it off flawlessly. Then Taylor was then called out when her and Travis attended the men's US Open because they weren't acting how they should have. At one point in the game, cameras panned to the celebrity couple as they belted out the iconic 2000s rock song I Believe in a Thing Called Love by The Darkness in the stands, with a clip of the moment going viral online. While Taylor fans and a portion of tennis fans were in awe at her and Travis's sing-along, others took aim at the couple for lacking decorum and putting on a show for the cameras in New York. One user wrote on Twitter, "Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are pure cringe at the US Open. This looks completely forced and unnatural." Another commented, "No other couple in the celeb world would love the cameras this much. We're still not buying it." And a third said, "No one acts like a 15-year-old on her first booze cruise at the US Open. It's a US Open, not a football game in honky tonk. Maybe just really trash versus class, I don't know." Now not to mention people were calling out their extensive PDA. Taylor Taylor and Travis were spotted standing up, hugging and kissing a lot throughout the game, but everyone around them was just sitting nicely and being quiet. A lot of people called out the couple for being obnoxious. But just a few weeks before this event, it was announced that Taylor and Travis's relationship was fake. A PR document was leaked and it showed an outline of what to do when Taylor and Travis broke up, which was set for September 28th. It had talking points about how they would announce the breakup and steps they would go through to make it seem mutual. Now, after it spread online, a spokesman for Full Scope, the company listed for orchestrating the fake relationship, insisted that it was entirely false and fabricated and was not created, issued, or authorized by this agency. Now, because this got leaked, some fans think that Taylor had been acting irrationally to get the conversation changed. I mean, after the supposed fake contract was leaked, Taylor and Travis were seen together non-stop. It seemed like they were working overtime to try to prove to the world that, oh, we're still together. Now, if all of this happened in 2024, I can't wait to see what happens in 2025.